Some dare call it conspiracy.
Diplomatic community.
Just been revoked.
Elon Musk claims to be a free speech absolutist and has restored several accounts to Twitter banned for racist or offensive views.
Under his ownership, racist, homophobic, transphobic, and anti-Semitic content has flourished on the platform, but this reputation as a champion of free speech couldn't be further away from the truth. When the Center for Countering Digital Hate tried to report on this increase in hateful content, Elon Musk, the free speech absolutist, tried to sue them for scaring away advertisers by telling the truth.
The lawsuit was recently dismissed when the Center for Countering Digital Hate successfully argued that the action was a transparent attempt to shut down its free speech. Judge Breyer, presiding over the case, clarified, "This case is about punishing the defendants for their speech."
The US judge dismissed the case and said it was evident Mr. Musk's ex-corp simply did not like criticism and was trying to silence voices that it disagreed with.
Elon Musk has also censored other journalists and organizations that he disagrees with, specifically those who investigate him or the companies he's associated with. This flies in the face of the image that he would wish to present.
It is no secret that recently, racist, homophobic, transphobic, and xenophobic rhetoric goes pretty much unchecked on X.
Ironically, the world of the future seems to have settled in about 1936.
When advertisers began to leave the platform in droves, not keen to have their brand identity associated with the far-right bin fire that Twitter was becoming, Musk famously and maturely told them to go fuck themselves, only later to attempt to sue companies for not paying him to advertise on his now toxic platform.
This is like a bed and breakfast owner climbing into bed with you at 3 a.m., fouling themselves, and then complaining that you haven't booked the following weekend. The words petulant and man-child were thrown around. This move was to the business world what Gary Heidnik was to the world of romantic encounters.
He has also suspended and censored political accounts that he doesn't agree with, such as White Dudes for Harris, a pro-Kamala Harris group.
So much for being a free speech absolutist. On the contrary, Elon's agenda is quite apparent. On the flip side, he actively promotes right-wing and racist accounts and floods them with bots to give the impression that they are far more successful than they actually are, in a transparent attempt to make the platform he is destroying seem relevant, less like a school shooter's chat room on 4chan. In reality, it's more right-wing than the starboard of a Messerschmitt, and its value is plummeting like a suicide jumper with a pocket full of NFTs.
Meanwhile, Musk himself has spread highly politicized lies about Democrats being communists, lies about immigration or the Great Replacement theory, and has been accused of spreading dozens of racist dog whistles and amplifying sites and influencers that do the same.
Musk also had Twitter recognize the word cis and cisgender as hateful speech.
The terms have their origins in Latin and have been used in academia since the 90s, and in general usage since the mid-90s. Musk has simply tried to ban these words because they offend his hilariously fragile ego.
Despite his bluster and seeming need to impress gamers online, he was actually forced into buying Twitter before destroying its value and worth and costing himself literally billions. Mutual Fund Fidelity, which owns a stake in X Holdings, said earlier in the year that the platform had lost over 71% of its value since Musk took over. Interesting.
Elon had previously banned conspiracy theorist Alex Jones for spreading lies about the children killed in the Sandy Hook massacre. Musk had said,
"My firstborn child died in my arms. I felt his last heartbeat. I have no mercy for anyone who would use the deaths of children for gain, politics, or fame."
He then hosted a space on Twitter where Alex Jones lied to his face about what he had actually said, claiming the media and a mysterious unnamed New York PR firm had smeared him. The truth was that Jones said many times that he thought Sandy Hook was fake. The parents were lying and/or actors, and that the children were not dead. He sent journalists to harass people connected to the case and made money off the death of children. Musk simply took his lies on face value, more willing to be fooled than a bereaved mother at a seance. Even when shown that he had been lied to, chose to keep Jones on the platform for the benefit that Musk felt it would have to his business. So much for his principles about his own child.
Well, it transpired that Musk was lying about that too. Elon's ex clarified that he had in fact fabricated details of the incident,
Writing of the tragic death.
a SIDS-related incident that put him on life support. He was declared brain dead, and not that it matters to anyone except me, because it is one of the most sacred and defining moments of my life, but I was the one who was holding him.
She added,
He spent 3 days on life support in a hospital in Orange County before we made the decision to take him off it. I held him in my arms when he died.
She also spoke of Elon's reaction to the incident.
Elon made it clear that he did not want to talk about Nevada's death. I didn't understand this, just as he didn't understand why I grieved openly, which he regarded as emotionally manipulative. I buried my feelings instead, coping with Nevada's death by making my first visit to an IVF clinic less than 2 months later. It seems very likely that Elon Musk lied about the details of the death of his child to gain sympathy, then abandoned those apparent principles when he saw an opportunity for money and lionization from a group of despicable people. Interesting.
Musk claims to be an advocate of family, but his own life doesn't seem to fit this ideal. He was himself physically and mentally abused by his own father, who later married and had a child with his younger stepsister, making one wonder if Elon regretted not trying harder to be the favorite child.
Elon chose to live with his father when he divorced his mother, but the pair later became estranged. Musk has fathered at least 11 children with several women, apparently being as free with his seed as a sex-addicted dandelion. Although not all the relationships are good, Musk has been divorced 3 times, although twice was to the same woman. Musk has 2 children with singer Grimes, but was sued in 2023 over parental rights and custody. Apparently Grimes has given him the papers at least 12 times.
In 2024, Grimes' mother tweeted that Musk was keeping the children from the rest of the family, pleading for them to see their great-grandmother, who sadly was in the final stages of her life.
Elon's daughter Vivian seemed to confirm that Musk was keeping the children from their mother and the rest of the family, snatching them away from their mother like some sort of cyber dingo. Writing, Elon has been illegally and continuously keeping their children, her children, away from their mother during the most important developmental period in a child's life. And went on to say, while Elon has been irresponsibly partying across the ocean in the very country he's been spitting contemptuous poison about, Grimes' children are stuck in a house thousands of miles away without their mother. Is Musk harvesting these children for adrenochrome to counteract the heavy ketamine use? Who can say?
Vivian also stated, X, Elon's son, has been paraded around social media solely for the purpose of boosting his own brand image of a responsible father, when that could not be further from the truth. Suggesting his ABCs are more in line with the concept of always be closing, rather than some silly, unprofitable alphabet, adding, behind the scenes, he is uncaring and absent.
And Vivian should know. Vivian transitioned when she was younger, and due to this was disowned by Musk, who appears to reject his children like a postnatal bird of prey. Musk claimed that his son had been destroyed by the woke mind virus, and in a truly dreadful interview with sad crybaby Jordan Peterson, he stated that he was tricked into allowing this transition. He dead-named his daughter, and he claimed that his son was dead. Musk tweeted that his son was born gay and was into musicals and theatre, and would describe outfits as fabulous. But he certainly wasn't a girl.
Vivian responded that this was all a lie and called the family man a serial adulterer. She also wrote that Elon's explanation was entirely fake, and that none of this ever happened,
stating that he must have been to the Milo Yiannopoulos school of gay stereotypes.
She went on to say,
I did not have a love of musicals when I was 4 because, I was fucking 4. I never picked out jackets for him to wear, and I was most certainly not calling them fabulous. The entire thing is completely made up, and there's a reason for this. He doesn't know what I was like as a child, because he quite simply wasn't there. And in the little time he was, I was relentlessly harassed for my femininity and queerness.
Vivian added.
In a ketamine-fueled haze, he's desperate for attention and validation from an army of degenerate, red-pilled incels and pick-me's who are quick to give in to him. Elsewhere, she has called him a cold, uncaring narcissist.
Ironically, for one opposed to changing oneself to make yourself happy, Musk has clearly had facial plastic surgery and sports a rather obvious hair transplant.
It is rumoured, although not proven, that the hideously ugly shape of the Cybertruck is a plot to so thoroughly destroy people's ideas of aesthetics that they finally stop laughing at Elon's weird, chunky, angular dad bod. Interesting.
After tweeting in 2022 that it was time for Trump to hang up his hat and sail into the sunset, and then writing, Trump would be 82 at the end of term, which is too old to be chief executive of anything, let alone the United States of America, and then lying that he would not finance any candidates, Musk was reported to be considering financing Trump to the tune of $45 million a month via a PAC. He later denied this, but only after Trump's chances were significantly reduced by Biden being replaced by Kamala Harris.
Musk did, however, continue to demonize Democrats online and host Trump for a painful interview in which they both denounced the working man and Trump sounded like he had a lisp or ill-fitting dentures. Frost Nixon, it was not.
Trump had previously mocked Musk for being so reliant on government subsidies for his various businesses, saying,
When Elon Musk came to the White House asking me for help on all of his many subsidized projects, whether it's electric cars that don't drive long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere, without which subsidies he'd be worthless, and telling me how he was a big Trump fan and Republican, I could have said, drop to your knees and beg, and he would have done it. Whether this has any bearing on Musk's appalling lack of principles is anyone's guess.
Musk threatened to ban anyone questioning or making light of Trump's recent assassination attempt. But then, in a display of juvenile shitposting hypocrisy, the grown man and billionaire shared a video that showed a Matrix parody where Donald Trump killed President Joe Biden.
During the chat, Trump made over 20 completely false claims with zero pushback. Following this, Trump completely abandoned Musk by going back to his own Truth Social network and sharing only the YouTube link of the interview, not the Twitter version. There is no honor amongst thieves, apparently.
Musk's false or misleading claims about the US elections on Twitter have been viewed 1.2 billion times. He has, for example, raised questions about the security of voting machines and falsely claimed that undocumented immigrants can vote in the US elections. Even if he is not directly financing the party, he has provided support that money simply can't buy, which some have pointed out is at best an undeclared campaign contribution, and at worst, crude election meddling. It's deeply corrupt, obviously self-serving, and willfully irresponsible.
Musk also shared a video that used AI to make it appear that Harris had said things that she in fact did not, in an apparent violation of X's manipulated media policy, and with only a laughing face emoji to suggest to followers that it was fake. Weeks after it was posted, the video is not labelled with community notes, which is X's community fact-checking feature that Musk used as a justification for slashing the company's trust and safety team.
Musk's AI chatbot Grok, which users can try on Twitter, has been criticized for providing false information about Kamala Harris, suggesting that she is ineligible to appear on the 2024 presidential ballot in several battleground states.
Musk has also promoted authoritarian leaders Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, Jair Bolsonaro of Brazil, and Narendra Modi of India. Musk also seems to share the political views of his former business associate Peter Thiel, the billionaire tech financier who has written,
"I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible."
Musk has spread lies about the WEF whilst promoting Teal and the Atlas Network, an oil-based lobbying organisation and think tank group, which ironically aims to curry favour and power in exactly the same way that people pretend the WEF does, only far more successfully. Interesting.
Musk has previously been criticized for spreading baseless rumors about Paul Pelosi following his hammer attack, suggesting that the assailant was in fact a prostitute, which is completely untrue. Musk also suggested that a shooting by a white supremacist in Texas was a psyop. Musk was also sued by Ben Brody, a 22-year-old Jewish person who Elon falsely labeled a neo-Nazi. Musk has also been named in an ongoing legal action connected to the cyberbullying of Olympic boxer Imani Khalif. Interesting.
Musk also threw a colossal tantrum at British diver Vern Unsworth when he was tasked with rescuing miners who were trapped in a flooded cave in Thailand. Unsworth had rejected Musk's offer to build a mini-submarine as a rather obvious and pretty distasteful PR stunt, and had chosen to focus on saving lives rather than building the brand of some billionaire. Musk, ostensibly a grown-up, responded by calling the diver and hero a pedo. Interesting.
Totally unrelated to this is the revelation from Musk's ex Tallulah Riley that she and Elon visited disgraced sex trafficker and pedophile Jeffrey Epstein after his release from jail, following illegal sexual activity with minors. Rumors abound that Musk was also friends with Ghislaine Maxwell, with unconfirmed suggestions that he may have had karate lessons with the woman who acted as personal assistant to history's worst recent sex offender. He's been photographed with Ghislaine, but he claims that he was caught off guard and photobombed. Interesting.
Musk often rants about immigration, spreading myth-truths about the USA's southern border. This is extremely ironic as he himself is an immigrant, and, if his brother is to be believed, an illegal immigrant. His brother, in an interview with the Mullen Institute in 2013, revealed that they entered the USA as illegal immigrants when they first received financing to help their businesses. Elon attempts to deny this, saying, it's a grey area, but his brother doubles down, admitting, yes, we were. Yes, we were. Interesting.
Musk has also been accused of being pro-Russian, or at the very least chastised for not aggressively countering Russian disinformation on Twitter, especially in regards to lies about the previous and upcoming US elections.
Musk has been accused of spreading anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about George Soros, including that he hates humanity and that he wants to erode the fabric of civilization.
It's difficult to know if this is born out of true adherence to the New World Order conspiracy theory or just a tantrum because Soros sold his shares in Tesla.
Given Musk's pathetic reputation, either of these sad outcomes is plausible. Either the world's richest man simply cannot educate himself to interpret reality, or he is a tragic bigot.
When an ex-user posted,
Okay, Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialectical hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. I'm deeply disinterested in giving the tiniest shit now about Western Jewish populations coming to the disturbing realization that those hordes of minorities that support flooding their country don't exactly like them too much. You want truth set to your face? There it is. Musk replied, you have said the actual truth, which, dear listener, he had not. Interesting.
Musk has also spread lies about COVID, the virus, the vaccines, their effectiveness, and the usefulness of other available medicines. He lied about the number of deaths, initially endangered his workers by refusing to respond to the pandemic, and falsely claimed that children were not affected by the virus. Interesting.
Musk is completely opposed to workers' rights and unions and has been accused of unfair work practices numerous times. Recently, Trump praised him for taking the decision to sack striking workers, which, if true, would be illegal.
He has been accused of firing employees of SpaceX because they were critical of him online. He has been accused of making employees sign illegal severance agreements. In March, a U.S. appeals court upheld an NLRB decision that said Musk illegally threatened Tesla employees by tweeting in 2018.
Hey, there's nothing stopping Tesla team at our car plant from voting union, but why pay union dues and give up stock options for nothing?
Tesla is separately facing allegations from the board that it illegally discouraged unionizing at a Buffalo, New York plant. Musk is violently opposed to unions, saying,
Unions naturally try to create negativity in a company.
and nonsensically,
I disagree with the idea of unions. I just don't like anything which creates a lords and peasants sort of thing.
preferring to stick to the current system of essentially lords and peasants.
After acquiring Twitter, Musk fired 4/5 of its 7,500 workers. Not only that, Musk, making Twitter's employees play a twisted game of Survivor to vie for the remaining jobs, seemed to gloat when employees worked 20 hours a day and slept in the office as they desperately tried to impress him so that they should be spared his axe.
Musk also allegedly mocked a Twitter employee who had muscular dystrophy. Musk said that the employee did no actual work and claimed as an excuse that he had a disability that prevented him from typing.
Victorians treat their workers better than Musk does, and by some accounts, their children too. In fact, some have made the argument that the Victorians treated their child workers better than Elon Musk treats some of his children. On that, we couldn't possibly comment.
But most recently, Musk was ordered to pay over 500,000 euros to an employee of Twitter from Ireland who was unfairly dismissed during Elon's crazed cost-cutting missions.
This is the first of many potential lawsuits for using unfair practices to let employees go and for not providing adequate severance. The ancient Egyptians treated workers better than Musk does. Interesting.
Elon Musk was accused of exposing himself to a SpaceX employee and offering the woman a horse if she agreed to give him an erotic massage. He later allegedly paid the woman $250,000 to settle a sexual misconduct claim. The Wall Street Journal investigated and found rumors that Musk had had several relationships with female members of staff and had pressed others for sexual favors, and even asked a woman who worked for him to have babies with them.
In 2022, several fired SpaceX employees also claimed instances of sexual harassment and gender discrimination, claiming there was an atmosphere of treating women as sexual objects to be evaluated on their bra size, bombarding the workplace with lewd sexual banter, and offering the reprise to those who challenge the animal house environment that if they don't like it, they can seek employment elsewhere. This appears to be a pattern for harassment as consistent as pepper spray stains on a rapist's anorak. Interesting.
Elon Musk has been accused of attempting to manipulate stocks and avoid paying his fair share of taxes. Musk has also attempted to repurpose his Nepo baby background. Previously, he had said that he grew up in an emerald mine, but then later denied this. His father, however, claimed that the mine did exist. Elon tweeted,
I will pay 1 million Dogecoin for proof of this mine's existence.
And complained earlier in the year that
The fake emerald mine thing is so annoying. Sigh.
Elon's father responded,
When I read that, I wondered, can I enter? Because I can prove it existed. Elon knows it's true. All the kids know about it. Elon saw them, the emeralds, at our house. He knew that I was selling them. What Elon is saying is that there was no formal mine. It was a rock formation protruding from the ground in the middle of nowhere. There was no mining company. There are no signed agreements or financial statements. No one owned anything. The deal was done on a handshake with an Italian man at a time when Zambia was a free-for-all.
Errol went as far as to say that emerald money paid for his son's move to the US, where Elon would go on to attend the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton Business School on scholarship, with apparently emerald generated cash in his pocket for living expenses.
Not quite diamonds on the soles of his shoes, but only a funky bass lick away. Interesting.
Elon Musk lies about his achievements. All he does is buy things with inherited cash. He cameoed in Iron Man to convince people that he was a cool inventor.
But he isn't. He's a spoiled rich kid that pouts when he doesn't get his own way and spends huge amounts on promoting a false image of him as a genius. He's like a psychotic Mr. Ben. While he wants the world to see him as the reincarnation of Nikola Tesla, most people see him as an onanist with tennis elbow, a useless wanker.
The only thing he has really invented is an implausible narrative about the details of him failing his own children. This is a man so driven by imposter syndrome that he would literally alter reality rather than deal with the problems so obvious and evident to normal people.
Musk said previously to the New York Times, "It's a real weakness to want to be liked, a real weakness, and I do not have that." But nobody believes that. He's literally looking for validation whilst making that statement. Musk projects more insecurity than a cinema dedicated to heist movies. You may have accepted that you won't be liked, but you have spent literally billions desperately attempting the impossible. Genuine likability is Elon Musk's spruce goose. Never in history has someone tried so hard to leave their mark on the world and only achieved in causing a stain. Musk isn't interested in family values. Musk has lied about his children, his relationships with his children, and the death of one of his children.
Musk doesn't appear to have any real friends, so he tries to appeal to right-wingers, losers, incels, and racists in the vain hope that someone will like him. Musk is anti-worker and pro-elite. Musk isn't interested in truth or free speech.
Musk is an entitled baby who could use his enormous wealth for great things and do a huge amount of good. He has the resources to be a truly great person, but he chooses to be a pissant shitlord on the internet and feather his own nest. Musk is a sad, sad man, sadder than a carbon monoxide leak at a puppy farm. Also, his taste in leather jackets is appalling.
I should have known. I hope you realize the trouble you are in right now. Gentlemen, show Officer Riggs into the street.
Frick Olaf.
Just get out of here.